Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya
Vasudevaya.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama राम राम हरे हरे. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. श्रीमद् भागवत गीता एज इट इज की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam for All session. Let us recite the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita and then Queen Kunti's prayers. We'll first read the translation of the 16th chapter. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault-finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy and from the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharata, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. Pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demoniac nature or son of Pritha. The transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demoniac qualities make for bondage. Do not worry, O son of Pandu, for you are born with the divine qualities. O son of Pritha, in this world there are two kinds of created beings. One is called divine and the other demoniac. I have already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now hear from me of the demoniac. Those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. They say that this world is unreal, with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. Following such conclusions, the demoniac, who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence, engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. Taking shelter of insatiable lust and absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige, the demoniac, thus illusioned, are always sworn to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. They believe that to gratify the senses is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, until the end of life, their anxiety is immeasurable. Bound by a network of hundreds of thousands of desires and absorbed in lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. The demoniac person thinks, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future more and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man, surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices. I shall give charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. Thus, perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell. Self complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth and false prestige, they sometimes proudly perform sacrifices in name only, without following any rules or regulations. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life, attaining repeated birth amongst the species of demoniac life. O son of Kunti, such persons can never approach me. Gradually, they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. There are three gates leading to this hell: lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. The man who has escaped these three gates of hell, O son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to self realization and thus gradually attains the supreme destination. He who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whim attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. One should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. Now let's recite the Sanskrit. Daiva Asura Sampatti Yoga, the divine and demoniac natures. Sri Bhagavanuvacha Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhir Jnana Yoga Vyavastitihi Danam Damascha Yagyascha Swadhyayastapa Arjavam Ahimsa Satyam Akrodhas Tyagah Shantir Apaishunam Daya Bhuteshvalo Luptvam Mardavam Hrira Chapalam Tejah Kshama Dhritihi Shaucham अद्रोहो नातिमानिता भवन्ति सम्पदं दैवीम् अभिजातस्य भारत दम्भो दर्पोऽभिमानश्च क्रोधः पारुष्यमेव च अज्ञानं चाभिजातस्य पार्थ सम्पदमासुरीम् दैवी सम्पद्विमोक्षाय निबन्धायासुरीमता मा शुचः सम्पदं दैवीम् अभिजातोऽसि पाण्डवा द्वौ भूतसर्गौ लोकेऽस्मिन् दैव आसुर एव च दैवो विस्तरशः प्रोक्ता आसुरं पार्थ मे शृणु प्रवृत्तिं च निवृत्तिं च जनाना विदुरासुराः न शौचं नापि चाचारो न सत्यं तेषु विद्यते असत्यम् अप्रतिष्ठं ते जगद् आहुरनीश्वरम् अपरस्पर सम्भूतं किम अन्यत् कामहैतुकम् एतां दृष्टिम् अवष्टभ्य नष्टात्मानोऽल्पबुद्धयः प्रभवन्त्युग्रकर्माणः क्षयाय जगतो हिताः कामम् आश्रित्य दुष्पूरं दम्भमानमदान्विताः मोहाद् गृहीत्वा सद्ग्राहान् प्रवर्तन्ते शुचिव्रताः चिन्ताम् अपरिमेयां च प्रलयान्तामुपाश्रिताः कामोपभोगपरमा एतावद् इति निश्चिताः आशापाशशतैर्बद्धाः कामक्रोधापरायणाः ईहन्ते कामभोगार्थम् अन्यायेनार्थसञ्चयान् इदम् अद्य मया लब्धम् इमं प्राप्स्ये मनोरथम् इदम् अस्तीदमपि मे भविष्यति पुनर्धनम् असौ मया हतः शत्रुर्हनिष्ये चापरानपि ईश्वरोऽहम् अहं भोगी सिद्धोऽहं बलवान् सुखी आढ्योऽभिजनवानस्मि कोऽन्योऽस्ति सदृशो मया यक्ष्ये दास्यामि मोदिष्या इत्यज्ञानविमोहिताः अनेकचित्तविभ्रान्ता मोहजाला समावृताः प्रसक्ताः कामभोगेषु पतन्ति नरकेषु च आत्मसम्भाविताः स्तब्धा धनमानमदान्विताः यजन्ते नाम यज्ञैस्ते दम्भेनाविधिपूर्वकम् अहङ्कारं बलं दर्पं कामं क्रोधं च संश्रिताः माम् आत्मपरदेहेषु प्रद्विषन्तोऽभ्यसूयकाः तान् अहं द्विषतः क्रूरान् संसारेषु नराधमान् क्षिपाम्यजस्रम् अशुभान् आसुरीष्वेव योनिषु आसुरीं योनिमापन्ना मूढा जन्मनि जन्मनि माम् अप्राप्यैव कौन्तेय ततो यान्त्यधमां गतिम् त्रिविधं नरकस्येदं द्वारं नाशनमात्मनः कामः क्रोधस्तथा लोभस्तस्माद् एतत्त्रयं त्यजेत् एतैर्विमुक्तः कौन्तेय तमोद्वारैस्त्रिभिर्नरः आचरत्यात्मनः श्रेयस्ततो याति परां गतिम् यः शास्त्रविधिम् उत्सृज्य वर्तते कामकारतः न स सिद्धिम् अवाप्नोति न सुखं न परां गतिम् तस्मात् शास्त्रं प्रमाणं ते कार्याकार्यव्यवस्थितौ ज्ञात्वा शास्त्रविधानोक्तं कर्म कर्तुम् इहार्हसि। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय। श्रीमती कुंती महारानी's prayers, first canto, chapter 8. Let's read the translations first. Srimati Kunti said, O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you because you are the original personality and are unaffected by the qualities of the material world. You are existing both within and without everything, yet you are invisible to all. Being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are the eternally irreproachable factor, covered by the curtain of deluding energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. You yourself descend to propagate the transcendental science of devotional service unto the hearts of the advanced transcendentalists and mental speculators, who are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. How then can we women know you perfectly? Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has become the son of Vasudeva, the pleasure of Devaki, the boy of Nanda, and the other cowherd men of Vrindavan, and the enlivener of the cows and the senses. My respectful obeisances are unto you, O Lord, whose abdomen is marked with a depression like a lotus flower, who are always decorated with garlands of lotus flowers, whose glance is as cool as the lotus, and whose feet are engraved with lotuses. O Rishikesh, master of the senses and lord of lords, you have released your mother Devaki, who was long imprisoned and distressed by the envious king Kamsa, and me and my children from a series of constant dangers. My dear Krishna, your lordship has protected us from a poisoned cake, from a great fire, from cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from sufferings during our exile in the forest, and from the battle where great generals fought. And now you have saved us from the weapon of Ashwatthama. I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. My lord, your lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted, one who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty, cannot approach you with sincere feeling. My obeisances are unto you, who are the property of the materially impoverished. You have nothing to do with the actions and reactions of the material modes of nature. You are self satisfied, and therefore you are the most gentle and are master of the monists. My Lord, I consider your Lordship to be eternal time, the supreme controller, without beginning and end, the all pervasive one. In distributing your mercy, you are equal to everyone. The dissensions between living beings are due to social intercourse. O Lord, no one can understand your transcendental pastimes, which appear to be human and so are misleading. You have no specific object of favor, nor do you have any object of envy. People only imagine that you are partial. Of course, it is bewildering, O soul of the universe, that you work, though you are inactive, and that you take birth, though you are the vital force and the unborn. You yourself descend amongst animals, men, sages, and aquatics. Verily, this is bewildering. My dear Krishna, Yashoda took up a rope to bind you when you committed an offense, and your perturbed eyes flooded with tears, which washed the mascara from your eyes. And you were afraid, though fear personified is afraid of you. This sight is bewildering to me. Some say that the unborn is born for the glorification of pious kings, and others say that he is born to please King Yadu, one of your dearest devotees. You appear in his family as sandalwood appears in the Malaya hills. Others say that since both Vasudeva and Devaki prayed for you, you have taken your birth as their son. Undoubtedly, you are unborn, yet you take your birth for their welfare and to kill those who are envious of the demigods. Others say that the world, being overburdened like a boat at sea, is much aggrieved, and that Brahma, who is your son, prayed for you, and so you have appeared to diminish the trouble. And yet others say that you appeared for the sake of rejuvenating the devotional service of hearing, remembering, worshipping, and so on, in order that the conditioned souls suffering from material pangs might take advantage and gain liberation. O Krishna, those who continuously hear, chant, and repeat your transcendental activities, or take pleasure in others doing so, certainly see your lotus feet, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. O my Lord, you have executed all duties yourself. Are you leaving us today, though we are completely dependent on your mercy and have no one else to protect us, now when all kings are at enmity with us? As the name and fame of a particular body is finished with the disappearance of the living spirit, similarly, if you do not look upon us, all our fame and activities, along with the Pandavas and Yadus, will end at once. O Gadadhar, Krishna, our kingdom is now marked by the impressions of your feet, and therefore it appears beautiful. But when you leave, it will no longer be so. All these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance, the trees are full of fruits, the rivers are flowing, the hills are full of minerals, and the oceans full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. O Lord of the universe, soul of the universe, O personality of the form of the universe, please therefore sever my tie of affection for my kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. O Lord of Madhu, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. O Krishna, O friend of Arjun, O chief amongst the descendants of Vrishni, you are the destroyer of these political parties, which are of those political parties which are disturbing elements on this earth. Your prowess never deteriorates. You are the proprietor of the transcendental abode, and you descend to relieve the distresses of the cows, the brahmanas, and the devotees. You possess all mystic powers, and you are the preceptor of the entire universe. You are the Almighty God, and I offer you my respectful obeisances. So let's recite the prayers in Sanskrit now. Kunti Maharani's prayers. कुन्त्युवाच नमस्ये पुरुषं त्वाद्यम् ईश्वरं प्रकृते परम् अलक्ष्यं सर्वभूतानाम् अन्तर्बहिरवस्थितं मायाजवनिकाच्छन्नम् अज्ञाधोक्षजमव्ययम् न लक्ष्यसे मूढदृशा नटो नाट्यधरो यथा तथा परमहंसानां मुनीनाममलात्मनां भक्तियोगविधानार्थं कथं पश्येमहि स्त्रियः कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्घ्रये यथा हृषीकेशखलेन देवकी कंसेन रुद्धाति चिरं शुचार्पिता विमोहिताहं च सहात्मजा विभो त्वयैव नाथेन मुहुर्विपद्गणात् विशान्महाग्ने पुरुषाददर्शनात् असत्सभाया वनवासकृच्छ्रतः मृधे मृधेनेकमहारथास्त्रतो द्रौण्यस्त्रतश्चास्म हरेभिरक्षिताः विपदः सन्तु ताः शश्वत् तत्र तत्र जगद्गुरो भवतो दर्शनं यद् स्याद् अपुनर्भवदर्शनम् जन्मैश्वर्यश्रुतश्रीभिरेधमाना पुमान् नैवार्हत्यभिधातुं वै त्वाम् अकिञ्चन गोचरम् नमो किञ्चन वित्ताय निवृत्ता गुणवृत्तये आत्मा रामाय शान्ताय कैवल्यापतये नमः मन्ये त्वां कालमीशानम् अनादिनिधनं विभुं समं चरन्तं सर्वत्र भूतानां यन्मितः कलिः I'll read that again. मन्ये त्वां कालमीशानम् अनादिनिधनं विभुं समं चरन्तं सर्वत्र भूतानां यन्मितः कलिः न वेद कश्चिद् भगवंश्चिकीर्षितं तवेहमानस्य नृणां विडम्बनं न यस्य कश्चिद् दयितोऽस्ति कर्हि चेद् द्वेष्यश्च यस्मिन् विषमामतिर्नृणाम् जन्म कर्म च विश्वात्मन् अजस्या कर्तुरात्मनः तिर्यन्नि शिशुयादस्सु तद् अत्यन्तविडम्बनम् गोप्या ददे त्वयि कृतागसिदाम तावत् या ते दशाश्रुकलिलाञ्जनसम्भ्रमाक्षम् वक्त्रं निनीय भयभावनया स्थितस्या सा मां विमोहयति भीरपि यद् बिभेति केचिदाहुरजं जातं पुण्यश्लोकस्य कीर्तये यदो प्रियस्य यान्ववाये मलयस्येव चन्दनम् अपरे वसुदेवस्य देवक्यां याचितोऽभ्यगात् अजस्त्वम् अस्य क्षेमाय वधाय चासुरद्विषाम् भारावतारणायान्ये भुवो नावा इवो दधौ सीदन्त्या भूरि भारेण जातो ह्यात्मभुवार्थितः भवेस्मिन् क्लिश्यमानानाम् अविद्याकामकर्मभिः श्रवणस्मरणार्हाणि करिष्यन्निति केचन शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्त्यभीक्ष्णशः स्मरन्ति नन्दन्ति तवेहितं जनाः त एव पश्यन्त्यचिरेण तावकं भवप्रवाहो परमं पदाम्बुजम् अप्यद्य नस्त्वं स्वकृते हितप्रभो जिहाससि स्वित्सुहृदोऽनुजीविनः येषां न चान्यद् भवतः पदाम्बुजात् परायणं राजसु योजितां हसाम् केवयं नाम रूपाभ्यां यदुभिः सह पाण्डवाः भवतो दर्शनं यर्हि ऋषिकाणामिवेशितुः नेयं शोभिष्यते तत्र यथेदानीं गदाधरा त्वत्पदैरङ्किता भाति स्वलक्षणा विलक्षितैः इमे जनपदाः स्निग्धाः सुपक्वौषधि विरुधः वनाद्रिनद्युद्दन्वन्तो ह्येधन्ते तव वीक्षितैः अथ विश्वेश्व विश्वात्मन् विश्वमूर्ते स्वकेषु मे स्नेहपाशम् इमं छिन्धि दृढं पाण्डुषु वृष्णिषु त्वयि मे नन्यविषया मतिर्मधुपते सकृत् रतिम् उद्वहताद् अद्धा गङ्गे वौगम् उदन्वती श्रीकृष्ण कृष्ण सख वृष्णिऋषभावनिधृग् राजन्यवंश दहनानपवर्गवीर्या गोविन्द गोद्विजसुरार्तिहरावतारा योगेश्वराखिल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते। श्रीमती कुंती महारानी प्रेयर्स की जय, श्रीमती कुंती स्तुति की जय, कुंती महारानी की जय। Okay, so now let us read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10. We completed chapter 4 yesterday, which was entitled The Atrocities of King Kamsa. And we read, what was the last thing that we read yesterday in that? That Kamsa agreed to his demoniac minister's suggestions. And then he gave them permission. Who were his ministers? They were, people with bad intelligence and who liked to give pain to others. So to such demonic ministers, Kamsa gave permission. And after giving permission, he went back to his own residence. That was the last thing. So now, one thing is, we did not cover in the past few days, we didn't cover Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. There's not much in the last few verses, but we'll just quickly read over that and then begin the next chapter. So, if you remember what this, so for all this 41, there's no commentary by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. This is all Prabhupada's translations. That the Brahmanas, cows, Vedic knowledge, austerity, truthfulness, control of the mind and senses, faith, mercy, tolerance, sacrifice, and different parts of the body are. So all these are, dharma is different parts of the body of Lord Vishnu, and they are the paraphernalia for a godly civilization. So you're discussing about Vedic culture. Vedic culture means where you will find all these things, and that's where Lord Vishnu is there. Lord Vishnu is the center of such a culture. Lord Vishnu, so this is what the Asuras are talking. Lord Vishnu, the super soul within the core of everyone's heart, is the ultimate enemy of the Asuras and is therefore known as Asura Dvit. He is the leader of all the demigods, because all the demigods, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, exist under his protection. The great saintly persons, sages and Vaishnavas also depend upon him. To persecute the Vaishnavas, therefore, is the only way to kill Vishnu. So what did they decide? They decided to persecute the Vaishnavas. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying that the Asuras are saying, we can kill Vishnu by killing the Brahmanas, because the saintly people are the root of Vishnu, who is the root of all things. So we already saw in previous verse that Lord Vishnu, this verse, Moolam, that Lord Vishnu is the root of all the demigods and of the Vedic culture. The Lord Vishnu is the root. So now, who is Lord Vishnu's root? The Vaishnavas are the root of Lord Vishnu. So if we kill the Vaishnavas, if we persecute the Vaishnavas and Brahmanas, then Lord Vishnu will be, he will be affected. And if Lord Vishnu is affected, then everything else will be affected. So that is why they attack Vaishnavas. Asuras attack Vaishnavas for this reason. Sukadev Goswami continued, thus having considered the instructions of his bad ministers, Kamsa, who was bound by the laws of Yamaraj, right? By taking those instructions, agreeing with them, he bound himself with the laws of Yamaraj. And devoid of good intelligence, because he was a demon, decided to persecute the saintly persons, the Brahmanas, as the only way to achieve his own good fortune. These demons, the followers of Kamsa, were expert at persecuting others, especially the Vaishnavas, and could assume any form they desired. One thing that we saw is they could take on any form, like Putana, and they could change their forms. After giving these demons permissions to go everywhere and persecute the saintly persons, Kamsa entered his palace. And the last verse was, surcharged with passion and ignorance and not knowing what was good or bad for them, the Asuras, for whom impending death was waiting, began the persecution of the saintly persons. So in that regard, we discussed, Asuras, what is Asuras' mentality? What are his actions? Their actions are in the modes of passion and ignorance. Yes? So mode of passion means you don't know. Intelligence in the mode of passion means you don't know what is right and what is wrong. You cannot decide between what is right and what is wrong. But intelligence in the mode of ignorance means you will think what is wrong to be right and what is right to be wrong. So asuras come in this category, passion and ignorance. They don't know, or they take the opposite to be right, like this. So then they didn't know, and because of not knowing what is right, what is wrong, or accepting the wrong to be right, they went to kill all the Vaishnavas. So what is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur saying here? That soon overtaken by death. Arad agata mrityavaha. That means they were soon overtaken by death. By these words, Sukadev pacifies the fearful Maharaj Parikshit. The passionate followers of Kamsa, whose minds were bewildered by ignorance and whose death was fast approaching, began to torment the Brahmanas. And also we saw anyone who engages in vikarma. So in this purport, Srila Prabhupada had mentioned about vikarma, nunam pramatta kurute vikarma, right? One who becomes mad, he engages in vikarma. So we discussed about that also. What will be the result when someone engages in vikarma? What is the destination? My dear king, when a man persecutes great souls, all his benedictions of longevity, beauty, fame, religion, blessings, and promotion to higher planets will be destroyed. So that's it. There's no commentary on that verse. Now we will begin the 5th chapter. I'll just read. The meeting of Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva. As described in this chapter, Nanda Maharaj very gorgeously performed the birth ceremony for his newborn child. Then he went to Kamsa to pay taxes due and met his intimate friend Vasudeva. So this is the subject matter of this chapter. The previous chapter was what? The previous chapter was atrocities of Kamsa. And this chapter is the meeting of Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva. Okay. So this is just a summary of this chapter. There was great jubilation all over Vrindavan due to Krishna's birth. Everyone was overwhelmed with joy. Therefore, the king of Vraja, Maharaj Nanda, wanted to perform the birth ceremony for his child, and this he did. During this great festival, Nanda Maharaj gave in charity to all present whatever they desired. After the festival, Nanda Maharaj put the cowherd men in charge of protecting Gokul, and then he went to Mathura to pay official taxes to Kamsa. In Mathura, Nanda Maharaj met Vasudeva. Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva were brothers. And Vasudeva praised Nanda Maharaj's good fortune because he knew that Krishna had accepted Nanda Maharaj as his father. Okay, in Mathura, Nanda Maharaj met Vasudeva. Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva were brothers, and Vasudeva praised Nanda Maharaj's good fortune because he knew that Krishna had accepted Nanda Maharaj as his father. When Vasudeva inquired from Nanda Maharaj about the welfare of the child, Nanda Maharaj informed him all about Vrindavan, and Vasudeva was very much satisfied by this, although he expressed his grief because Devaki's many children had been killed by Kamsa. Acha. So Nanda Maharaj is telling all about Vrindavan, and also Nanda Maharaj is saying, I'm so sorry that Devaki's children are all killed by Kamsa, like that. He's expressing his grief. Nanda Maharaj consoled Vasudeva by saying that everything happens according to destiny and that one who knows this is not aggrieved. Expecting many disturbances in Gokul, Vasudeva then advised Nanda Maharaj not to wait in Mathura but to return to Vrindavan as soon as possible. Thus, Nanda Maharaj took leave of Vasudeva and returned to Vrindavan with the other cowherd men on their bullock carts. So this is the subject of this chapter. Now let's read the first verse. Sri Shuka Uvacha Nandastvatmaja Utpanne Jata Hlado Mahamanaha Ahuya Vipran Vedagyan Snatah Shuchir Alankritaha Vachayitva Swastyayanam Jata Karmatmajasya Vai Karayam Asavidhivat Pitradevarchanam Tatha. So today you can read. We'll take turns. Yes, Mataji. Chinmay Keshvi Mataji, you want to read the translation?
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Mataji. Vasudeva Goswami said, Nanda Maharaj was naturally very magnanimous, and when Lord Sri Krishna appeared as his son, he was overwhelmed by jubilation. Therefore, after bathing and purifying himself and dressing himself properly, he invited Brahmanas who knew how to recite Vedic mantras. After having these qualified Brahmanas recite auspicious Vedic hymns, he arranged to have the Vedic birth ceremony celebrated for his newborn child according to the rules and regulations, and he also arranged for worship of the demigods and forefathers.
Thank you, Mataji. Next will be, I think, Narsimha Praladeshwar Prabhu. You're able to read, Prabhuji? Not there. Priyanka Haripriya Mataji, you're able to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji, yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji.
Please
Jai
accept my
Prabhupada.
humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Purport. Srila
Yes.
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has discussed the significance of the words Nandastu. The word tu, he says, is not used to fulfill the sentence, because without tu the sentence is complete. Therefore, the word tu is used for a different purpose. Although Krishna appeared as the son of Devaki, Devaki and Vasudeva did not enjoy the Jat Karma, the festival of the birth ceremony. Instead, the ceremony was enjoyed by Nand Maharaj, as stated here, Nandastav Atmaja Utpane Jata Halado Mahamanaha. When Nand Maharaj met Vasudeva, Vasudeva could not disclose, your son Krishna is actually my son. You are his father in a different way spiritually. Because of fear of Kansa, Vasudeva could not observe the festival of Krishna's birth. Nand Maharaj, however, took full advantage of this opportunity.
Okay, Mataji. Next person can read. Subhadra Mataji, you're able to read or?
Hare Krishna Mataji. I'll try because it's too small for me, but I'll try.
Okay.
Please accept my humble obeisances of Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Prabhupada Mataji. Go ahead, Mataji.
The Jata Karma ceremony can take place when the umbilical cord connecting the child and the placenta is cut. However, since Krishna was brought by Vasudeva to the house of Nanda Maharaj, where was the chance for this to happen? In this regard, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur desires to prove with evidence from many sastras that Krishna actually took birth as son of Yashoda before the birth of Yogamaya, who is therefore described as the Lord's younger sister. Even though there may be doubts about the cutting of the umbilical cord, And even though it is possible that this was not done, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears, such events are regarded as factual. Krishna appeared as Varhadeva from the nostril of Brahma, and therefore Brahma is described as the father of Varhadeva. Also significant are the words Karayam Asha Vidivat. Being overwhelmed with jubilation over the birth of his son, Nanda Maharaj did not see whether the cord was caught or not. Thus, he performed the ceremony very gorgeously. According to the opinion of some authorities, Krishna was actually born as the son of Yashoda. In any case, without regard for material understanding, we can accept that Nanda Maharaj's celebration for the ceremony of Krishna's birth was proper. This ceremony is therefore well known everywhere as Nanda Ushchav. Thank you, Mataji. Sorry, it was small, so I was scrolling here and there. So if I missed anything, please forgive me.
No. Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. So let us read also Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, and then we will discuss. When we have all the points in place, we can discuss. So the translation is the same. It's Srila Prabhupada's translation. I'm reading Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. This chapter, so this is the style of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, whether it is Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, whenever he begins, or at the beginning of every chapter, he will first give the highlights. What is, if you were to give in one sentence or two sentences, what is the highlight of this chapter? What is the topic that is going to be discussed in this chapter? He will always give that, the highlights of that particular chapter, whether it is Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. At the beginning of the chapter, he does that. So since we are beginning a new chapter, here we will see what Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying about the highlights of this chapter. This chapter describes the festivities at Krishna's birth, going to Mathura to pay tax, and the conversation between Nanda and Vasudeva. Okay? So what are we going to see in this chapter? We will see the celebration, Nandotsava, celebration of Krishna's birth by Nanda Maharaj. So that festival, how was that festival conducted? That we are going to see. Second thing is Nanda Maharaj's going to Mathura. That will be discussed. So in order to go, what all he took and all that, right? What arrangements he made. Nanda Maharaj, and also he's going and meeting with Kamsa and giving all that. So Nanda Maharaj is going to Mathura to pay taxes to Kamsa. And the third subject is the conversation between Nanda and Vasudeva. There, when Nanda Maharaj goes to Mathura, he meets with Vasudeva and the conversation that took place. This is the subject matter of this 5th chapter. Nandotsava, Nanda Maharaj is going to Mathura, Nanda Maharaj's conversation with Vasudeva. Okay. Although Vasudeva was completely overjoyed over the birth of his son, Vasudeva, okay? Vasudeva, not Nanda Maharaj. Although Vasudeva was completely overjoyed with the birth of his son, due to fear of Kamsa, he could not celebrate the birth in Mathura with the Jata Karma ceremony, cutting of the umbilical cord. That means when the umbilical cord is cut, umbilical cord is the thing that connects the, the pipe that connects the mother with the baby, right? So when that is cut, there is a ceremony there. When the umbilical, that means the baby is now for the first time completely separated from the mother. Even after the baby takes birth from the mother, there is still that connection, because while in the mother's womb, the baby is not able to digest its own food. I mean, it's not able to digest. It'll receive the digested food from the mother. Already digested food will come into the baby's belly. So the baby is completely dependent on the mother. She digests and she supplies food to him, like that. But, and also, when he comes out, now he's independent. That is why, when the baby is born, to help the baby, they say it is important that the baby should cry after taking birth, because when the baby is screaming, that will open up the lungs so that the lungs will start functioning properly. So at least that's what in modern medicine the doctors say. They just, if the baby doesn't cry, they make the baby cry by holding it upside down and spanking on the back to make the baby cry. I saw that when they did that to my child. So if he's not crying, they'll make the baby cry first so that he'll, he will, his lungs will function properly and everything. Now it's independent. And even that umbilical cord is also cut, right? So now, and that's why, they clip it up so that it won't bleed and all that. And after some time, it falls off in about a week, and then the baby is on its own. I mean, the baby is on its own already now, as far as digestion and all that. So that is a ceremony. That cutting of umbilical cord is itself a ceremony. That's the point. And that is called Jata Karma. So Vasudeva was not able to celebrate Jata Karma. Of course, we saw how Krishna was born. It's not like Krishna is not born like an ordinary child with the umbilical cord connected to the mother and then the umbilical cord is cut. None of that happened because we saw Krishna directly appeared. He was in the heart or in the womb and he just appeared in front of Devaki. We saw that, right? And he was born. How was he born? With 4 arms, holding little Shankha Chakra Gada Padma with his crown and clothes and jewelry and necklaces and what do you say, garlands, like that. There's a description of that. So it's not that actually, they did the umbilical cord, but still the birth ceremony, when the child is born, you celebrate the birth ceremony. Like that, Jata Karma is also a ceremony. So he did not celebrate whatever rituals will be performed at that time, at the time of cutting the umbilical cord. That means when the baby is now, as soon as the baby is born, right, you cut the umbilical cord. So as soon as the baby is born, there will be some samskaras that will be performed, which Vasudeva could not do out of fear of Kamsa. Those rituals he could not perform. What to speak of? Remember, this is the Supreme Lord who is born. Not only was his baby born, a child was born, but this was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How much more he must be celebrating? He wanted to celebrate. So usually at that time you give in charity, right? You give like that. So what did Vasudeva do? In his mind, he gave charity. So he could not actually celebrate the Jata Karma ceremony. That is the point. Why he could not celebrate? Because if he did that with pomp, if he celebrated, Kamsa would come to know. So that is why it was all secret until he went and exchanged the baby and all that. Kamsa didn't know. So therefore, out of fear of Kamsa, Vasudeva was not able to observe the Jata Karma ceremony. Okay. Although Vasudeva was completely overjoyed over the birth of his son, due to fear of Kamsa, he could not celebrate the birth in Mathura. In Mathura, he could not celebrate. He was in the prison house with the Jata Karma ceremony. Nandastu Atmaja. Atma Ja. Atma means from the self. Ja means taking birth. Atmaja means his son. Son who has taken birth from him. That's what it means. Atmaja means. Nandastu Atmaja. The birth of Nanda's son. Tu. Why is the word tu used? But when Nanda's son was born, he joyfully celebrated the birth with Swasti Vachana and other auspicious ceremonies. Jata Karma ceremony, Vasudeva could not celebrate. Now, what is the picture that we get when we read Srimad Bhagavatam? That Nanda Maharaj had a daughter, Vasudeva had a son. Vasudeva went and exchanged his son with Nanda Maharaj's daughter, and he came back. So, when the child is born from the mother, actually takes birth from the mother, then that cord will be there, isn't it? Then you cut that cord and that Jata Karma ceremony will be observed. According to what we read, it appears like Yashodamai did not give birth to Krishna. Devaki Mai gave birth to Krishna. So, Jata Karma ceremony can be observed only in, right after birth. If at all it was observed, it would have been observed here in Mathura. But there was no observance of Krishna's Jatakarma ceremony in Mathura where he appeared. But that is why tu is used. But it was observed by Nanda Maharaj. But it was observed by Jatakarma ceremony means cutting of umbilical cord. How is it possible that Nanda Maharaj will observe the cutting of umbilical cord? He got the baby already separated from the mother. He got the baby from Vasudeva, isn't it? So how he will do the Jatakarma ceremony? Jatakarma ceremony is observed right after cutting the umbilical cord. That means if Nanda Maharaj celebrated umbilical cord means what? I mean, he celebrated Jatakarma means what? That means Krishna was actually born to Yashodamai and the umbilical cord was cut and the Jatakarma ceremony was observed, isn't it? So this actually tells us that Krishna actually appeared to Yashodamai. It's not that Krishna only appeared to Devaki and then he was brought to Yashodamai, not like that. Krishna was born to Devaki, but Krishna was also born to Nanda Maharaj. Yashoda, Vasudeva could not observe Jatakarma ceremony, but Nanda Maharaj was able to observe Jatakarma ceremony. And in the purport, we saw Srila Prabhupada said that whether actually he had that umbilical cord and then, Nanda Maharaj cut that umbilical cord or not, that we don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But nevertheless, he observed that ceremony. He observed that ceremony, which is observed right after the baby is born, immediately after the baby is born. He observed that ceremony. Jata Karma ceremony was observed by Nanda Maharaj. So Vasudeva didn't observe, but Nanda Maharaj observed. When you hear that Nanda Maharaj observed, this will tell us clearly that Krishna was also born to Nanda Maharaj. So first Krishna was born and then Yashoda gave birth to Yogamaya. Like that. So both were born. So Yashodamai had two children. First Krishna and then Yogamaya. Whereas Vasudevaki had one, Krishna. So Nandastu Atmaja. That means, but Nanda Maharaj's son had that ceremony. The birth of Nanda's son. But when Nanda's son was born, he joyfully celebrated the birth with Swasti Vachana and other auspicious ceremonies. The use of the word tu indicates the difference in the birth celebration, but it also indicates that Krishna was born in Nanda's house as well as in Mathura. So what is the significance of tu? One significance is the difference in the festivity, celebration. Vasudeva could not observe, but Nanda Maharaj celebrated. That is one meaning of tu, right? But means why but is said. But is said Nandastu Atmaja. Why it is said but Nanda's son? One point is to tell that Vasudeva could not observe his son's Jatakarma, but Nanda's son had that Jatakarma ceremony. And what is the second point? The second point is that Nanda actually, in Nanda's house, Krishna was actually born. Tu tells us that Krishna actually took birth in Nanda's house. That means he took birth to his wife, took birth from his wife, Yashoda. Okay? How? Because Jata Karma won't be possible unless you take birth. You cannot observe Jata Karma ceremony. So Tu tells us that Krishna actually took birth from Yashoda also. He appeared to Devaki, but he also appeared to Yashoda. If you remember earlier also in one verse, which verse? After Devaki was born, Vasudeva is taking the baby. Remember? There also there was a point that that what was the point? You remember there also there was a point which said that this shows that Krishna also took birth in Yashoda Mai's house. Anyone remembers the point?
Yes.
Yeah, tell.
Like,
Vasudeva was leaving with the baby.
no, also when I forget Yoga,
Yeah,
she
Yogamaya.
was the younger sister of Krishna.
Ah,
So like that means Krishna was actually born to
correct. Very good. Good point. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah. What was said there was that same time when Krishna is born to what do you say? not same time. What was said there was, first Krishna was born to Vasudeva, Devaki. Krishna appeared to Devaki. And then when Vasudeva was about to leave with Krishna, so what did we read? First, what we read was Krishna appeared to Vasudeva and Devaki. Okay. And then what happened after Krishna appeared? Vasudeva was amazed with the baby, and then he was experiencing this wonder, right? And then Devaki began to offer her prayers, and then actually first Vasudeva offered his prayers, then Devaki offered her prayers, and then Krishna spoke, and first he spoke to Devaki, and then he spoke to Vasudeva and indicated that he should be taken like that. So that much time passed after Krishna appeared. Okay? All this conversation happened after Krishna appeared. Then Vasudeva picked up the baby, and just when he was about to leave the prison house in Gokula, Yashoda gave birth to a daughter, it is said. Daughter matlab, yeah, she gave birth to a daughter. That means Yashoda's daughter was born afterwards. So that also tells us, quoting from Harivamsa, we understood that at the same muhurta, when Krishna appeared to Devaki, at the same muhurta, Yashoda also gave birth to Krishna. And after some time, there was a gap. After some time, then she gave birth to the daughter. How we understand? Because when Vasudeva was leaving, at that time it is said Krishna's sister. If Krishna is only born to Vasudeva, how did Yashoda's daughter become Krishna's sister? How can Yashoda's daughter become Krishna's sister? Unless Krishna is also born to Yashoda, and then Yashoda gives birth to a daughter, therefore she becomes his sister. Here Krishna appeared to Vasudeva and Devaki, and after some time, when Vasudeva was just about to leave the prison house, in Gokula, Yashoda gave birth to a daughter. There is a time lapse. And who Yashoda gave birth to a daughter means to the sister of Krishna. She gave birth to the sister, Krishna's sister. How she becomes sister unless Yashoda also had given birth to Krishna? There were two Krishna. Yeah, Krishna was born simultaneously at the same time, like midnight, exactly at midnight. Krishna was born to Vasudeva and Devaki, or he appeared from Devaki. He also appeared from Yashoda Mai. That detail you want, didn't Vasudeva see Krishna when he went to exchange the baby girl? He didn't see Krishna? Good question. I don't know. But what I know is, we'll read, maybe we'll get more information. But what I know is that both Krishnas became one Krishna. After Vasudeva left Krishna and Yashoda had her Krishna, both Krishnas became one. And once again they separated when Krishna came to Mathura, when Akrura went to call Krishna Balaram for that Dhanur Yagya of Kamsa. So at that time, on the way, Akrura went to take bath in the river, right? So at the outskirts, actually, like, because Krishna never leaves Vraja, so original Krishna remained there in an invisible form. He's not visible to everyone because according to everyone in Vraja, Krishna has left now. But he was still there in an invisible form. And the Vasudeva Krishna continued on to go to Mathura. So here also the Krishna who appeared to Vasudeva and Devaki is Vasudeva. Vasudeva's son Vasudeva. Vasudeva Krishna. So Vasudeva Krishna came and he joined with Vrajendra Nandan Krishna. Krishna of Vrindavan Krishna. Okay, we'll just read more. See, if it is over, you can bring to connect because the battery is dying. The birth of Nanda's son. So we saw that. Okay. So the use of the word tu indicates the difference in the birth celebration, but it also indicates that Krishna was born in Nanda's house as well as in Mathura. This proof is established in the Harivamsa. So where do you find this? It is established in Harivamsa. Who's saying this? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is quoting from Harivamsa. In the 8th month, on the 8th tithi, before the pregnancy was complete, both Devaki and Yashoda gave birth at the same time. In that verse also, we see the quote from Harivamsa that both were born at the same time. So this, where do you get this detail? If you are asked about where to find it, you'll find it in Harivamsa. That Krishna took birth in both in Devaki and Yashoda at the same time. The word tu is not used merely to complete the meter of the shloka, because the meaning of the sentence is complete without the word tu. Nandastvatmaja utpanne. So there's no need to use tu here. Nanda atmaja utpanne, right? It could have been. You don't need this extra to complete the meter. You can say Nanda atmaja utpanne, no problem. But instead this tu is added. Nanda stvatmaja utpanne. Why? What was the need to add the tu there? It is not simply for the meter, right? No. The word tu is not used merely to complete the meter of the shloka, because the meaning of the sentence is complete without the word tu. Nor should it be argued that tu is a meaningless word. Tu means but, right? You cannot say, oh, tu doesn't make any difference. It doesn't have any meaning. No. The natural conclusion is that the word tu means that Krishna was born from Yashoda's womb as the son of Nanda. So this tu tells us that Krishna is born from Yashoda's womb also. The Jata Karma ceremony takes place only after cutting the umbilical cord. How could there be a child born with the umbilical cord already cut? Which would be the case if Krishna were Vasudev's child. That is the point. This whole thing about Jata Karma, why this chapter is beginning with this verse that Vasudeva could not observe Jata Karma, but Nanda Maharaj observed Jata Karma of Krishna. Jata Karma means cutting the umbilical cord. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, how can there be a child born with the umbilical cord cut already? If there's a child, the child cannot be born with the umbilical cord cut. Right? So if you accept that Nanda Maharaj simply accepted Vasudev's child Krishna, he didn't have any boy, he simply accepted. Obviously, Vasudeva would have to cut the umbilical cord and then bring the child, right? So he will get a child whose umbilical cord is already cut. If it is already cut, then there's no question of observing any Jata Karma ceremony. If it is already cut, there's no point of observing Jata Karma ceremony. But Nanda Maharaj observed Jata Karma ceremony. That means the boy was born in Nanda Maharaj's house to Yashoda, and it was cut. Umbilical cord was cut. So this Jata Karma ceremony tells us that Krishna actually was born to Yashoda. That's the point. How could there be a child born with the umbilical cord already cut? Which would be the case if Krishna were Vasudev's child. The fact that Krishna is actually the son of Yashoda is mentioned in many Shastras, not just in Harivamsa. Harivamsa tells us that Krishna appeared at the same Muhurta to Devaki and Yashoda. That much we hear. But that Krishna is the son of Yashoda is said in many Shastras. Therefore, it should not be claimed that these statements do not represent the real meaning of the words in this verse. 1 second, Mataji. After I finish this, I'll take. For example, in chapter 4, verse 9 of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Maya Devi is mentioned. This is what I was indicating earlier. Maya Devi is mentioned as Krishna's younger sister because she was born to Yashoda after him. In chapter 8, which we didn't cover yet, verse 34, Gargamuni tells Nanda Maharaj that previously Nanda's son was born in Vasudev's house. Another one, right? So In the future chapter, chapter 8, verse 34, we will see when Gargamuni observes the Namakarana ceremony of Krishna. So there he will say that Nanda Maharaj, your son was previously born in Vasudeva's house. So that can mean that in a previous lifetime he was Vasudeva's son. That can also come, isn't it? But what he was saying was the same boy was previously born in Vasudeva's house. Gargamuni tells Nanda Maharaj that previously Nanda's son was born in Vasudeva's house. In chapter 14, another chapter in future, verse 1, Lord Brahma says that Krishna was born from a limb of Nanda. Lord Brahma is saying Krishna is born from a limb of Nanda Maharaj. Besides the Srimad Bhagavatam, other scriptures address Krishna as the son of a cowherd woman. That means in other Shastras, you will see Krishna is born to a cowherd woman. In the Gautamiya Tantra, Krishna is called Yashoda Nandan, the son of Yashoda. Kramadipika refers to Krishna as the son of the cowherder named Nanda, Nanda Gopa Tanaya. Poetic works describe Krishna as the son of Nanda, Nandaputra. One may argue that these names and others such as Nanda Nandana, Subala Sakha, Gopi Kanta are merely expressions of prema, indicating Krishna's dear submission to Nanda Maharaj. So now you may say, no, when they say Nanda Nandana means because Nanda Maharaj has this fatherly affection for Krishna. He is in this Vatsalya prema. So therefore, Krishna is also called as Nanda's son. He didn't actually take birth from Nanda Maharaj. Like that. People may argue. So one may argue that these names and others such as Nanda Nandana, Subala Sakha, Gopikanta are merely expressions of prema, indicating Krishna's dear submission to Nanda Maharaj. They do not prove that Krishna is the son of Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, right? Just because these Shastras are saying Nanda Gopatanaya, Nanda Putra, Nanda Nandana, we should not, it does not necessarily mean that Krishna actually took birth to Yashoda. It can be out of their fatherly affection, Krishna is called like that. So further, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, there are also names such as Vasudeva Nandana, sorry. So further they will argue further that you are saying Nanda Nandan, right? So Nanda Nandan means because Nanda Maharaj has this Vatsalya Prema, therefore he is called Nanda Nandan. But he is also called Vasudev Nandan, Arjuna Sakha, Rukmini Kanta, which express Prema mixed with Aishwarya, majesty. These terms are used simply to express different degrees of love. Otherwise, Varahadev should be well known as the son of Brahma. Parikshit should be known as the son of Uttara. Thus, Krishna has different names according to the mood of love of his devotee. Therefore, Nanda and Yashoda is referring to Krishna as Yashoda Nandan does not indicate that they believe Krishna is their son. So, all these are arguments. You understand? All these are arguments proposed or offered by persons who don't accept that Krishna is actually born to Yashodamai. Because you don't see a direct verse in Bhagavatam which says that Krishna actually took birth from Yashodamai. The only thing that we hear from Sukadev Goswami is Krishna took birth from Devaki and Vasudeva, and Krishna was carried to Gokula and exchanged with Nanda Maharaj's daughter. We don't see that Nanda Maharaj and Yashodamai actually gave birth to Krishna. That we don't see. So then if we offer this explanation that in various Shastras we see the name, Krishna's name as Nanda Nandana, Yashoda Nandana, Nanda Gopa Putra, Nanda Putra, like this. That means he's the son of Nanda Maharaj, son of Yashoda Mai, or he is the son of a cowherd lady or a cowherd man, like that. In different places you will find in Shastras. So that shows that Krishna is the son of Nanda and Yashoda. Then these people will say, why? That is simply out of their love for Krishna. Because they have this fatherly affection or motherly affection. So Krishna is called like that because of their love. that does not prove that Krishna actually took birth from Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai. It does not prove like that. Because in that case, if that were true, that if somebody takes birth only, look at the other argument. If someone is taking birth only, or if the Lord, only when the Lord takes birth from someone, then only you can call them as Nandana, right? Wait. Yeah. If the Lord takes birth from someone, then only you can call that person, and then the Lord will be called as the son of Nanda. So, in other words, if there is Nanda Nandana, if it is said Nanda Nandana, means it proves that Krishna is born to Nanda. Like that, we should understand. Then in that case, Varahadev also should be called Brahma Nandana, because Varahadev appeared from the nostril of Lord Brahma. Or you should say Hiranyakashipu is Stamba Nandana, because Lord Nrsimhadev is because he's appearing from Stamba, from a pillar. You should call him Stamba Nandana. This is their argument. Nandana, if you say Putra or Nandana, means the person has actually taken birth, then Nrsimhadev's name should be like this. Varahadev's name should be Brahmanandana, because he actually took birth. But we don't say that. That means this word can be used. Nanda Nandana, Yashoda Nandana, it can be said just like you say Arjuna Sakha, right? Rukmini Kanta. Out of that relationship, out of that love, they get that Krishna gets that name. But it does not prove that Krishna actually took birth from what do you say? Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai. So like that they will argue. Huh? What? I said Nanda Maharaj and Devaki. No, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai. Sorry. Okay. I'll read that one more time, okay? One may argue that these names and others such as Nanda Nandana, Subala Sakha, Gopikanta are merely expressions of prema, indicating Krishna's dear submission to Nanda Maharaj. They do not prove that Krishna is the son of Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. Okay? They don't prove that actually Krishna is son of Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. There are also names such as Vasudeva Nandan, Arjuna Sakha, Rukmini Kanta, which express prema mixed with Aishwarya, majesty. So these terms are used simply to express different degrees of love. So when you hear this, Krishna is called in relation to a devotee as someone's son or someone's friend or someone's husband. When Krishna is called like that, we should understand it is only showing their love to Krishna. It doesn't mean Krishna is actually that, like taking birth from them, like that. These terms are used simply to express different degrees of love. Otherwise, Varahadev should be well known as the son of Brahma. Parikshit should be known as the son of Uttara. Right? Thus, Krishna has different names according to the mood of love of his devotee. Therefore, Nanda and Yashoda is referring to Krishna as Yashoda Nandan does not indicate that they believe Krishna is their son. Like that. Okay? Now, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, one cannot say, however, that Nanda and Yashoda's thinking of Krishna as their son out of love alone gives rise to these names. Why? Because such thinking cannot overpower the actual facts. It cannot be the causeless prema. It cannot be that causeless prema is caused simply by causal thinking of things which are not true. If one thinks of Bhagavan Sri Krishna as an ordinary jiva, that does not make the Lord a jiva. And speaking what appears to be false, as in the pastime of Krishna, denying his eating of earth, can give rise to the highest truth for the devotee. The fact that Krishna had millions of universes in his mouth, Krishna's words, though apparently lies, actually become the highest truth. This is most praiseworthy, worshipable, and love-inspiring for the spiritualist. What is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur saying here? You are saying that it's like based on logic, isn't it? What are they trying to prove here? They're trying to prove based on logic that if you say Nanda Nandana means, or Yashoda Nandana means he's actually the son of Yashoda Mai, then you should also call Varahadev Brahmanandana, because Varahadev was born to Lord Brahma, but he's not famous like that. So from this we understand that it's just because of that feeling that they have, therefore they think Krishna, you have that type of, you have that type of affection for the Lord, like a child. So therefore the Lord is also accepting that name, because you have that type of feeling. But that does not mean he's actually your son. It does not mean he's actually your husband, or it does not mean he's actually your friend, isn't it? That's what it means. Because they feel, because they think like that, therefore Krishna is called. So now what is the counter by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur? Simply by thinking, if you think something, it doesn't become a fact. If you are simply thinking something, that does not become a fact. For example, if you think that Krishna is a living entity, some people think, right? Krishna is also like us, he's also a living entity. But by your thinking, does Krishna actually become a living entity? So similarly, if somebody is thinking that Krishna is my son, then Shastra will give that name to Krishna. He's the, he's the son of so and so. Can Shastra do that? So that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, one cannot, however, say that Nanda and Yashoda's thinking of Krishna as their son out of love alone, right? Simply because of their thinking, these names are given, Yashoda Nandan and Nanda Nandan. Why we shouldn't say that? Because thinking cannot overpower the actual fact. Fact is fact. When you think, that by your thinking you cannot change facts. If Krishna is Devaki Nandan, that is a fact. If you're saying Krishna's being Devaki Nandan is a fact, and Yashoda Nandan is simply because they're thinking like that, that name is given, it cannot be. Shastra cannot do that. Then what is the difference, right? There should be some difference to show that this is because of thinking and this is actual. So thinking something cannot overpower the fact. That is the point. When you think of something in a certain way, that does not have the power, but your imagination does not have the power to erase the fact or to overwrite the fact. And by the way, whatever is said in the Shastra is eternal. It cannot be that, Shastra is something which is not real, which is not a fact. How can Shastra say something which is not a fact? Because such thinking cannot overpower the actual facts. So further he's saying it cannot be that causeless prema is caused simply by causal thinking. Also, if you say it is because of their prema, how can they have that prema unless it is a fact? Try to understand. They have that love for Krishna as their child. Actually, their child. Simply by thinking, can you have the same love? And this is not even in this with a material body. This is eternal. All transcendental bodies. Can they have the love for child if the child is not actually theirs? Like the same love for the Supreme Personality of God. I mean, the transcendental. It's not a material body even. Even in this material body, however bad your child may be, you still have that, oh, this is my child. And however good your neighbor's child may be, still that feeling is there, that is another's child. You may say both are equal to me and everything, but still that is there. My child will be there. So the point here is that it cannot be that causeless prema. Now, Is there any cause for Yashodamai's prema? Is there any material cause? Oh, because he's good, therefore I love him. Because he's the Supreme Lord, therefore I love him. Is there any cause? No, it's causeless. So, such causeless prema cannot have a cause. Right? What is the cause? Your thinking is the cause. Because I'm thinking he's my son, therefore now I will love him as my son. But that love is causeless. How you are saying there's a cause for that love? You are saying the cause for this love is my thinking that he is my son. So how can causeless prema be caused by some causal thinking? That means causal thinking means, in other words, imagination. You're imagining that he's my son. Actually, he's not my son. But your love is real. He's not really your son. You're imagining, you're thinking, but your love is real. How is it possible that real love is coming from some imagination? No. If one thinks of Bhagavan Sri Krishna as an ordinary jiva, right? You are imagining Krishna to be a living entity. Does it change the fact that he is not a living entity? It cannot change the fact. That means your imagination does not have the power to change the fact. Speaking what appears to be false. So again, one more thing. Now Krishna is eating dirt. Okay, Krishna is eating dirt. Speaking what appears to be false, as in the pastime of Krishna denying his eating dirt. So the fact is Krishna ate. Later on we will see. Krishna ate mud, dirt, mud. He put in his mouth. And when Yashodamai asked, did you eat? Do you have mud in your mouth? No. Right? So, let me 1 second. Speaking what appears to be false, as in the pastime of Krishna denying, that means Krishna is telling a lie there, right? So it appears to be false. What appears to be false, as in the pastime of Krishna denying his eating of earth, can give rise to the highest truth for the devotee. The fact that Krishna had millions of universes in his mouth. Okay? Krishna's words, though apparently lies, actually become the highest truth. This is most praiseworthy, worshipable, and love-inspiring for the spiritualist. So here, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining from the other side also. From the other side means, first we saw that causeless love cannot be caused by that which is not real. You understand? So what is not real? If you say that Krishna's being the son of Yashoda is not real. If you're saying that Krishna's being the son of Yashoda is not a fact. But her love for Krishna, causeless love for Krishna, is a fact. How is it possible that something real is coming from something which is not real? That's one argument. Then the other side of it is something which is not real. Am I confusing you? Anyway, I'll end after this. I'll just make one small attempt and then we'll move forward, okay? Something which is not real. What is not real here? Or a lie, right? That Krishna is eating dirt. That which is not real actually gives birth to the highest reality for devotees. What is the highest reality? Krishna's having dirt in his mouth. Actually, the fact is, he has all the universes, everything within him, because he's Vibhu. Vibhu means there's no limit to him. Everything is him only. He's all pervading, he's everywhere. All pervading, not in the form of Brahman. That form of Krishna, that body of Krishna is so big, it is everywhere. But at the same time, although it is so big, it is everywhere, it is also there like a small child in front of Yashodamai with a small mouth. So when he's so big, he's everywhere, that means everything is in him. That form of Krishna is so big, then everything is in him. And he showed that when he opened his small mouth, all the universes were there inside the mouth. Yashodamai saw this. So what appears to be a lie actually is leading to the highest truth. What is the lie? That he ate dirt, right? He said, no, I didn't eat dirt. So he's telling a lie there, right? He actually ate dirt. So when that lie is actually that he didn't eat dirt, for a devotee, that lie is actually, so earlier what we said is, how can something real come from something lie? Something which is not real. Her love, pure love, cannot come from imagination. Something real cannot come from imagination. But in the case of devotees, even though something which is not real, from that reality is also coming. The biggest reality. What is the biggest reality? Krishna is having all these universes in this mouth. So that means earth is there, water, fire, everything is there in him. So he's having earth is also there. So that is a lie that he doesn't have anything. But that lie is actually, from that lie, they're seeing the reality. What is the reality? When he opened his mouth, all the universes are seen. That's all I can explain. I cannot go beyond that. Whatever I could understand, I explained. And just one more word here. Jata hlado, overwhelmed in jubilation. Joy also took birth because of the birth of the child. This word is a literary ornament of metaphor. Nanda had others perform Krishna's birth rituals because he was unable to do so due to being overwhelmed with joy over the birth of his son. Also, so one more thing which shows us that Krishna was born to Nanda Maharaj is when he saw the child born, he couldn't even do the jata. It is said that Nanda Maharaj did the jata karma ceremony, but he was so overjoyed seeing that child, so overjoyed, he couldn't even do the jata karma ceremony. The other people around him had to do that. He was completely so ecstatic he couldn't do it. That also shows that Krishna was born to Nanda Maharaj. Okay, so yes, Mataji, Saujanya Mataji, you wanted to. What is Harivamsa? Why did Sukadeva Goswami did not mention this in Srimad Bhagavatam and take Srimad Bhagavatam as topmost reference? Yes, Mataji. So Harivamsa, I think, is written by Srila Sanatan Goswami. I'll just double check that. But the Goswamis have given us, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed the Goswamis, especially Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatan Goswami, to send them to Vrindavan after instructing them. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Rupa Goswami at Dashashwamedha Ghat in Prayag for 10 days about the science of bhakti. And also he instructed Sanatan Goswami in Varanasi. And then he sent them to Vrindavan with specific instructions. What was that? To excavate the places of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, because they were all lost. They were not known. So now to actually find out what are the places where Krishna's various pastimes took place. That was one task. The second task was to erect temples and set standards of deity worship. According to scriptures, everything, Shastra is Pramana. Everything is according to scriptures only. And the third one is to also give devotional scriptures to establish this bhakti as the highest, Panchama Purushartha, right? So from scriptures. So therefore, our Goswamis have written extensively. They've given us various books. Like, for example, now we have Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion. And, also, Shat Kriya Saradipika, the Shat Sandarbhas by Srila Jiva Goswami, Ujjwala Neelamani, like that, Vidagdha Madhava, Lalita Madhava. So many books were given by the Goswamis to us. And how they wrote these books? By collecting all the scriptures, eternal scriptures. From those scriptures only, they have given us these books. So your question was, why did Sukadeva Goswami did not mention this in Srimad Bhagavatam? It is mentioned. That is why they're saying. So now what we are reading is a commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is a later Acharya who came after the Goswamis disappeared. But even the Goswamis have given us commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Sanatan Goswami gave us commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Jiva Goswami has given us commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, Krama Sandarbha, right? And now Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So many Acharyas have given commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam. So what we are discussing is not out of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Srimad Bhagavatam only. This is Srimad Bhagavatam only. Now, even what we are reading now, it is there, but you will not be able to see unless the Acharya brings it out for us. For example, that word tu. You can very easily overlook that. Nandastu Atmaja Utpanna. So tu, you may think it's just, it doesn't have any significance. But the Acharya is able to see. So here, why the Acharya is able to see? Because, see, these Acharyas, they are not like us. They don't have defects in their senses. So senses means not just eyes, nose, ears, tongue. Mind is also a sense. 6 senses. Manaha shashtani indriyani prakritisthani karshati, Krishna says, right? So the 6th sense is the mind. Mind is also sense. So what they think with their mind, their intelligence, it is all completely, there's no material thing there. It is all transcendental. So with transcendental senses, whatever they see, whatever they speak, whatever they conceive and they give us, all that is scripture. It is not material. So they are opening up. They're showing us, they're throwing light on the Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam is transcendental. It is Krishna only. See, like a peacock feather. Peacock feather has so many colors. Depending on how you tilt it, you'll see the different colors. So Srimad Bhagavatam, now you're seeing from one angle. But these acharyas are coming and showing Srimad Bhagavatam from different angles and showing the different colors from Srimad Bhagavatam. But can everyone do that? Can anyone just write their commentary on Bhagavatam? No, you cannot do that. Someone who is a Vidusha, right, who is transcendental, who does not have material senses, who does not have defects in his senses, he can do that. An empowered personality, and who is a liberated personality, and in that also a devotee only can do that. So that's why we have these books. They are actually commentaries on Bhagavatam only. Sukadeva Goswami is also Acharya. What Sukadeva Goswami has given, they are like bringing out the various aspects of Bhagavatam like that. There is no, for example, when it is said, Sukadeva Goswami said that Krishna's younger sister, Mahamaya. Now, when you just, or Yogamaya, when you just read that, it won't come to your mind. How is this? It may not come. But the Acharya is bringing out the point. If Krishna is not born to Yashoda, how can Yogamaya be his sister? She is born to some other parents. He is born to some other parents. How she became his sister? That means Krishna must have taken birth from Yashoda Mai. So this is there in Bhagavatam, but not given in a direct way. But it is there in some other place. In Harivamsa, it is there. Actually, both were born at the same time. So now Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is bringing out the point from Srimad Bhagavatam, and also he is quoting from another scripture. So any writing which is given to us by acharyas who are liberated, that is also scripture, because their senses don't have any defects. Is that okay, Saujanya Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, but I was thinking this is such an important fact that Krishna, see, the entire Srimad Bhagavatam is about Krishna, and the 10th chapter is fully about Krishna. Then Sukadeva Goswami must have directly written,
That is there, but at the same time, this is that is why Krishna, Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kaschid Yatati Siddhaya Yatataamapi Siddhanam Kaschin Mam Vetti Tattvataha. Out of many thousands and thousands of men, hardly one person will try for perfection. Perfection means he's trying to even rise above this bodily platform. Most of the people in this world are simply happy, getting some, working hard, getting some material result and enjoying that. And we think that is our success in life. Majority of the people, this is Bhagavad Gita shloka. Hardly one person thinks, what is the purpose of this life? Right? Why am I suffering? Who was I before I was born? What will happen to me after I die? Hardly one in many thousands will even think like this. And someone who thinks like that, who will actually pursue it and get perfection, very rare. And in those people who have achieved perfection, that means who have realized I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul, to know Krishna as the Supreme Lord is extremely rare. Many, many thousands of perfected people, in that one person may know Krishna in truth. So that is rare. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, yes, the 10th canto. But it's not that Shukdev Goswami is hiding it. Shukdev Goswami said it, but we cannot see it. Who will see it? So by the mercy of these acharyas, it is being revealed to us. But why people are not able to see it? Because it's a very, very big secret. Krishna is secret. And Srimati Radharani is even more secret. You don't even see her name directly like that. But this is like, you're going higher and higher level, like PhD. Bhagavad Gita is like high school, you complete that. Then college level, Srimad Bhagavatam, like that. And Chaitanya Charitamrita is like post-grad, like that. So it's a secret, certainly. That's why everyone doesn't know the details. Okay.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, this is Subhadra. Mataji, I heard Srila Prabhupada's lecture, like same, like Jasojana Mataji was saying, like the same purport when you pick it up and go to Prabhupada Bani, you will see all the lectures. And I heard in one of the lectures, Prabhupada has very nicely explained how Krishna took birth at same time and how Yogamaya is Krishna's sister. There is a lecture in which Prabhupada has really explained. In purport, yes, he might not, and he also in his lectures, he will tell from where, like if it is from Harivamsha or something, he will say that we never heard about it. But yes, he has said in his lectures.
Yeah, we read it, Mataji. This thing came in the previous, when I said, before Vasudeva left from the prison house, and at that time, the girl was born to Yashoda Mai, his sister, Krishna's sister is born Yashoda Mai. In that purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions there that this, by quoting Harivamsa, in Harivamsa it is said that Krishna was born simultaneously to Vasudeva, to Devaki and Yashodamai. There in that purport, Srila Prabhupada says. So yes, Srila Prabhupada also says this. It's not like it is not said. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, Priyanka Mataji is saying, one can argue that how difficult it would be for Krishna to get connected to Yashodamai with umbilical cord, and also someone must have cut that cord of Yogamaya too. Acha. I mean, it's not that it is difficult. Why not? It's not that Krishna, you cannot restrict Krishna to, like the way material people take birth, Krishna cannot take birth. Can you say that? You cannot say that. And even externally, it may appear. Another example, Kapil Dev's appearing to Kardama Muni and Devahuti. There we will see. After Kardama Muni performed tapasya, then Devahuti, she came, the Lord appeared to him and said that Swayambhu Manu will come. He will bring his daughter and you should accept her. She will be your wife. And the Lord also said how, I will also appear as your son and all that. He told everything. So then Devahuti came, and it's not like immediately after, after marrying, they had children. No, not like that. He performed very severe tapasya for a long time. And after that, he saw his wife was very, very, what do you say, devotedly serving him, not demanding anything. She had become emaciated, and she was living in the forest with her austerities and everything. Thick coats of dirt accumulated on her body, and she was like looking. He felt compassion for her, And then he said, you have supported me in all my tapasya, so I want to share whatever I have achieved, because wife means the better half of the husband. That means she shares whatever. If you're a chaste wife, then whatever spiritual or material progress that the husband makes, wife has equal share in that. 50% share, equal share she'll get from the husband, simply by being a faithful wife without doing anything herself. If she simply remains a faithful, doing anything means she's not doing those spiritual practices herself. She's simply engaged in doing her pativrata dharma, then she will get. So her husband said, whatever I have done, all the spiritual siddhis or whatever I have achieved, now I want to share with you. And she said she was not interested in that. She wanted a child. She said, I want a child. So he said, okay, because you want a child, I'll give you a child. So then what did they do? He created a nice aerial mansion and they enjoyed for a long time, and finally they came back, and eventually he expanded himself into 9 forms, and he impregnated her in 9 forms, and they had 9 children. She gave birth to 9 daughters. And then Kardama Muni, before marriage itself, he had told Devhuti's father, Swayambhuva Manu, that I will leave home after giving her children. I will leave, because this is not the goal of my life. As a Prajapati, my father Brahmaji ordered me to produce children. So for that, I am doing this service. But my goal is, I want to do right my bhakti. So I will, after giving children, I will go away. So they agreed. So after giving 9 daughters, now he was ready to leave home. And then it dawned upon her, what did I do? I had such an exalted husband. And, and what is the use of all this? Daughters were born and all daughters got married. They also went away. Now she's alone at home. She started crying. And then she said, please, give me, instruct me in the spiritual knowledge, like that. And then he said, then Kardamuni remembered, oh, the Lord had said that he's also going to appear. So he said, okay, he engaged her now. Both of them, once again, they engaged in performing, tapasya and worshipping the Lord, like that. They engaged in that. And after that, it is said, now they engaged in sex, and then Kapil Dev was born. So you may question, what? Why do they need to do? Because in Vasudeva and Devaki's case, we see from Vasudev's heart, the baby is transferred, or Krishna went into Devaki's heart. There was no, thing like this. But there it is said, now they lived as husband and wife, and then eventually he impregnated her, and then, like they had sex, and then then Kapil Dev is born. So can you say, because he is born by this, therefore he is not the Supreme Lord? Can you argue like that? No. For him, nothing is material. Everything is transcendental. He can appear in any way he likes and still be completely untouched by Maya. So even if Krishna actually took birth from, Yashoda Mai, and there's an umbilical cord, and the umbilical cord was cut, because it's not that Yashoda Mai is a material body. How can Krishna appear? Even Devaki is not a material body. We read about that in the previous verses. Devaki Mai is also not a material body. How can Krishna take shelter in the womb of a material mother? Impossible. He can only take shelter in the womb of a completely transcendental father and mother, both. So therefore, she was not material. Devaki was completely transcendental. What to speak of Yashoda Mai? So she's completely transcendental. Krishna is completely transcendental. And if she has given birth, which in this world appears like a regular birth, and then if there's an umbilical cord, I mean, there shouldn't be any problem. So Mataji, one can argue that how difficult it would be for Krishna to get connected to Yashoda Mai with nothing.
I meant to say, Mataji, like someone can say कि इसमें कोई मुश्किल नहीं होनी चाहिए. He's a god after all, so he can do anything. So that way I had put my question, but I think I couldn't convey it rightly.
Acha. No, I thought you were pointing from their side. When they argue, this is how they will argue. So what will
Yes.
you answer?
Yeah, they can argue कि वो तो भगवान है, वो तो कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, तो umbilical cord से connect हो सकते हैं फिर से, और फिर जात कर्म संस्कार हो सकता है. So one can say कि there should not be then, like, कि ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है कि फिर कोई और कृष्णा हो वहां पर already. He has already taken birth. So in that connection, I was just saying.
Okay, okay,
Like
okay.
someone can argue because we have read so many arguments, na? So in that way.
फिर से बोलिए माता जी. So your point is they can say भगवान के लिए क्या संभव नहीं है, तो वो बिना
हाँ
अम्बिलिकल कॉर्ड का यहाँ आ गए और वहां फिर से अम्बिलिकल कॉर्ड मैनिफेस्ट कर सकते हैं, ऐसा
yeah
ऐसा बोल रही है. अच्छा
हाँ
अच्छा.
हाँ
ओके ओके. लेकिन जो उनको अच्छा, but Krishna does not do that. You see, when he comes, for example, there's another example. When Krishna came as, he's Bhagwan, right? And he's playing the role of a Kshatriya. When he plays the role of Kshatriya, he very faithfully plays that part. He doesn't mix. Like when he's playing the role of Kshatriya, all of a sudden he doesn't become a Bhagwan. Become means he doesn't show I'm Bhagwan. Because Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, these are for somebody who's in this material world. You have these dharmas you have to follow. You are a brahmana. These are for the body, material body. Because what do we understand? Brahmana means in the mode of goodness, kshatriya means passion, vaishya means passion and ignorance, shudra means ignorance. So if you say Krishna is kshatriya, that means he's in passion, that's why he's a kshatriya, right? No, he's not. He's actually transcendental. But to set example to everyone else, he plays the role of a kshatriya, right? Yad yad acharati sreshtas. So when he's playing the role of a kshatriya, he doesn't change in between. Till the end, he will play that role very faithfully, very properly. That's why in the battle of Kurukshetra also, it's not like, oh, on the other side, they're all demons. He could have just taken one Sudarshan Chakra and just killed everyone and protected his devotees. He could have done that. He doesn't do that. He'll go by their thing only. So similarly here also, it's not like all of a sudden he'll show some magic. He won't do that. That's the point. So he can do that. He's Bhagwan, he can do anything he likes. But when he's playing a particular part, he plays that part nicely. And uh, yeah,
yes Mataji, yeah
so
yeah
many things also can be said there, like, because if he shows like that, especially to Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai, they don't think he's the Supreme Lord, right? So he won't show such magic. It's not like Nanda Maharaj already knew. He didn't. He's thinking he's my son. So now all of a sudden he's showing the umbilical cord to him. He's already born there, isn't it? First he was born, Krishna was born, then the girl was born. Of course, they didn't see that. That's also there. Yeah. So yeah, first Krishna was born and then the girl was born, but they didn't know that girl and boy both are born. They were not aware of this. Yashoda Mai was completely, she just gave birth and then she was in unconscious. And when Vasudev came in exchange, they were not aware of any of this. All they saw was the baby was there. So you're saying then Krishna could have manifested when he's lying there, he could have just connected himself to Yashoda with umbilical cord. Yeah, he could have done that. Then, but we are not imagining anything here. We are only going based on facts. He could have done that, but then you should show other examples also where he's doing things like that. Like in the previous argument when they said that Varahadev is born from Lord Brahma. So if you're calling Nanda Nandana, then you should also call Varahadev as Brahma Nandana, right? Because he's born, whenever he's born, then you should call him like that. Only when he is born, that name will come. If you say, that means
like
it.
Mataji, one can say because Krishna has made full arrangement for his transfer to Gokul
Yeah.
because the prison doors they got open and everyone fell asleep and everything. So it was all because of Krishna, right? He did everything. So just
Right.
to make that pastime very complete, so one can say that also, right? Just a thought came. I mean, you need
I
not
know, I know.
answer.
I'm also thinking, as you're speaking, I'm also thinking, and that was nice. Yeah, he made the doors open, that's true. And that actually the Yogmaya did that. Put everyone to sleep, and the gates just opened, and Yamuna Devi gave way to Vasudev to cross, and but nobody was seeing that Krishna is doing this, isn't it? Vasudeva didn't see that Krishna. Of course, Vasudeva first saw that he is the Supreme Lord, but especially when he comes to Vrindavan, he could have done, that's your point. After he's there, he could have just, because nobody knew that all they know is the baby is born, that's all. So the baby who's, after Vasudeva, he could have connected himself again.
You all are discussing it. It looks like that you all are more intelligent than Krishna. Would have done. This is offense. Why you all are thinking that you would have done that? You could have done this thing. You could have done. He's not normal baby. He's the Supreme Lord. Even though his baby is the Supreme Lord, that is his will. To say he could have done means your intelligence, your idea is superior than Krishna's idea.
We are discussing from the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti.
No, but to talk like this, it's not good.
Anyway, so we will stop here.
Now, what Prabhu said is, I heard from Srila Prabhupada that way. Exactly what he said. He's like, what thought, what nonsense, what thought you have, what can you think? That exactly what
I'm so sorry.
Prabhu was telling. No. It's I heard from Srila Prabhupada that way also.
It can be done with normal people. Conditioned soul, not even with the liberated soul. What we speak about God.
I am sorry. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I'm sorry, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
No problem.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrindi.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Krishna is supreme. He can do anything.
Sanam Pavanebhya Vaishnavim.
Vanam.